Hello, I'm Kanav Behil, Managing Director at immigrate.ai. Today, we are diving into a crucial topic for anyone planning to apply for a Canadian visa: the common reasons why visa applications are rejected. To make this more engaging, I'll share some real-life examples along the way. Let's get started with the 20 most common reasons for visa refusals. Number 1. Proof of funds. Imagine you're applying for a student visa. You need to show you have enough money for tuition and living expenses. For instance, if you're planning to study in Toronto for a year, you might need around 25,000 Canadian dollars. If you can't prove you have these funds, your application could be rejected. Source of funds. Let's say you've saved a substantial amount, but the money appeared in your account just days before applying. The Canadian government will want to know where this money came from. If you can't provide legitimate documentation, your application might be denied. Travel history. Picture this. You're applying for a tourist visa, but you've never traveled outside your home country. If others with similar profiles have traveled to countries like the USA or have traveled to Europe, their application might be stronger. So building a travel history can sometimes help your case too. Lack of employment prospects in the home country. If you come from a country where salaries are significantly lower than in Canada, like some regions in South Asia, the IRCC might worry you won't return after your visit or studies, leading to a higher risk of refusal. Failure to provide proper and accurate supporting documents. For example, if you're applying for a work visa and forget to include a crucial document like your employment contract, your application can definitely get denied. Always double check your checklist and include all the necessary documentation. Current employment situation. If you're currently unemployed and applying for a visitor visa, the visa officer might question how you'll support yourself during your stay and whether you have strong reasons to return home. So it's very, very important that you figure out what your current employment situation is and have an answer to that in your application for immigration. Family ties to your home country. Imagine you're applying for a visa, but you have no immediate family in your home country. This could signal to the visa officer that you might not have strong ties to return. It increases the chances of your refusal. Length of stay. Let's say you're planning to stay in Canada for 6 months as a tourist. You'll need to prove you have enough funds to support yourself for that period, roughly around 10,000 Canadian dollars or more. Without sufficient proof, your visa might be denied. Real purpose of visit. If you claim to visit Canada for a conference but don't provide details about the event, the visa officer might doubt your intentions. Always provide clear and detailed responses for your visit. The next pointer which I've seen is failure to explain the purpose of your travel. Similar to the real purpose of visit, like I discussed in the previous point, if you're visiting family but don't mention how long you'll stay or what you plan to do, it can definitely raise a lot of red flags. Be specific in your explanations. Personal assets. If you don't own any property or have significant savings, it might be harder to prove you have strong ties to your home country. For instance, owning a house can show you have reasons to return. Number 12th point that I want to discuss today, which is also a common reason for rejection, is the host in Canada's financial situation. If you're staying with a friend in Canada, their financial situations also matters. If they can't prove that they can support you, your application might also be refused. Documents that do not appear authentic. So I've seen in many cases that people provide false documents, fabricated documents. Providing these sort of documents can severely damage the credibility of yourself as well as your application. For example, if you submit a falsified bank statement, not only will your visa be refused, but you might also face a ban from reapplying. And these bans can apply for a number of years too. If you have a history of overstaying or deportation, if you've overstayed a visa in another country like the USA, Canada will know through shared international data. Like it means that if you've overstayed in your previous visit to USA, then this will be available to Canada too. This history can negatively impact your chances. Illegal status in the country of residence. If you're living illegally in another country, it shows a disregard for legal processes, making it unlikely Canada is going to trust you to follow their laws. Failure to meet international security standards. A criminal record, depending on the severity and recency, can hinder your application. However, lesser offenses from many years ago might still allow for visa approval with proper documentation, but you will have to prove innocence in this case. Failure to meet health standards. If you have a contagious disease or a condition that could burden the Canadian healthcare system, you might be refused. For example, untreated tuberculosis is a common concern that we've seen. So that is why they always do an X-ray of the chest to figure out if there is something that's communicable. Visa officer reservations. Sometimes it's about the gut feeling of the officer reviewing your application too. If your intention seems unclear or dubious, they might refuse your visa. Ensuring your application is straightforward and honest definitely helps your case. So always prove whatever you've mentioned in the application. Misrepresentation. If you lie about your marital status, like claiming to be single when you're married, and the truth is discovered, it's not just a refusal. You could be banned from entering Canada for years. So never do any sort of misrepresentation. Human rights violations. If you served in the military of a regime known for war crimes, like some conflict zones, you must provide additional documentation to prove you were not involved in these activities. I personally feel that understanding these common reasons for visa refusals can help you better prepare your application and avoid some common mistakes. At immigrate.ai, we're here to help you navigate this complex process and increase the chances of your success. If you have any questions or need assistance, feel free to reach out to us, or you can directly reach out to me on my email, kanav@immigrate.ai. Thank you so much for watching and best of luck with your application.